So you literally have someone trying to pull the same scam on multiple people. But not only that, screwing with their emotions, trying to get as much money as possible from them. If there is a hell, this person's going to it. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I'm going to get into a video on how to use hacking techniques in order to spot a catfish. And this is really mostly going to be social engineering and stuff like that. If YouTube decides to take this video down because they view this as showing people how to do malicious things, well, screw them, but I'm also going to put this on VidMe, and feel free to copy this all you want. That was a problem before, by the way. Check out some of my previous videos. So as far as things goes, I'm going to be using a real world example. One thing I want to mention is, if you don't know what a catfish is, as far as catfishing is, then feel free to look that up. I'm not going to babysit you there. You're supposed to be well more in an adult phase or whatever, so you have the capability there. Now, some of you are going to say to not get catfish, don't go on dating sites. I'm going to say that you're just a moron who doesn't understand where things are going. The fact of the matter is, and not trying to get too insultive, but the fact of the matter is more and more jobs are going remote. Plus, on top of that, you got Amazon and fewer places who are going online, like with Amazon going with their grocery stores, trying to make it where it has an online purchase and delivery where you don't need to go to a physical building. And then on top of that, no joke, McDonald's, I can't remember the actual numbers, but it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. McDonald's went on Bloomberg and they said that they have, I think, 36,000 stores worldwide. Again, I can't remember the exact number, but they said something around that they have about 600 stores that are doing delivery, and they're expanding that. And they expect within a couple of years or less that it's going to be a quarter of their profits. And the more stores that will have it, the more the profits will increase from that. So even something down to McDonald's, yeah, you're not going to go there much more. It's going to be delivered to you. And the fact of the matter is unless you could find the one, quote unquote, in a delivery person, well, the fact of the matter is, or a drone, the fact of the matter is, yeah, well, that doesn't work. So you might say, well, what about bars and clubs and whatever? Well, do you purchase a car being drunk? No. So why would you try to get with someone for the rest of your life, or hopefully a pretty good portion of your life, being drunk, or have them drunk, or being in that atmosphere? So yeah, if you treat your car better than your relationship, that says a lot about you. So let's just jump on into this. And if that seems to be insulting to you, or it's a little advanced for you, there's plenty of cat videos for you. I don't really care for you to be here. So as far as this goes, going into here, I'm black and they're red. So any message that you see black, that's me talking. Any message you see red, that's them talking. On this other, I'm again in the black and they are in the purple. So with that, I want to mention that I removed their icon, I removed their username, their email, and also the phone number. Simple reason why is, well, the icon, I don't know if their actual image is of them or someone else. If it is of them, which I suspect, then I have no problem showing it. But the fact of the matter is, if it's someone else, I don't want them to get targeted, because there's too many people who are idiots who jump on a bandwagon to beat someone over the head without doing their own research. And as far as the email and the phone number and some of the other things, other people might use in the future, phone numbers transfer and all the other stuff. So I also, again, don't want people to beat up on them for, whatever. Now let's talk about this particular scammer. This particular scammer, they are a scammer that's been doing this for some time now. They are a con artist. And the fact of the matter is they are in it for the long term, as seen here with this particular complaint. And on top of that, they go for a large amount of money. One thing to note is they go up and up with more money. If you can afford $50, then you can afford $100. If you afford $350, well, you can afford $1,000-something, and so on. I mean, it goes up and up, and all it's about is getting money from you. Now, It's a little bit more rare that this is like it is where it's a long term, but it does happen, and that's something to note into itself. You might say that this person might be the scammer is a mastermind. The real reality of this is they are playing on emotions. They are doing social engineering attacks just like I would be doing social engineering attacks to see that they are a con artist or not. This is something that you got to do and you got to protect yourself with. The fact of the matter is you need to leave the emotions at the door when you're first getting to know someone. You need to know some basic stuff to know that they are real. You need to know that they're not, flat out lying to you. You need to know all these basic things before you invest an ounce of emotion into it. See, what happens is a person doesn't have to be a mastermind. All they have to do is get with your emotions, manipulate your emotions, and your emotions is going to always, I don't care how logical you are, it's going to always hijack your logic. So the fact of the matter is all they have to do is to be a master of manipulating your emotions, at least manipulating your emotions enough. A lot of people will just see through this, but right here they got $2,500 from this one person, and they might get a lot more from other people, especially people who don't report it and whatever. Now, one thing I want to mention before I go any further, I did report this person to proper authorities and stuff, so don't worry about that. And given that the phone number and all that stuff is still active, what the fact of the matter is they have a pretty good chance of catching them. So as far as that goes, that's very, very important. Do not have emotions when you're first contacting someone or someone's contacting you. Leave that at the door. You need to know basic qualities about them in the first place to see if you're compatible. Because it might be some basic things that, it just so happens to be that they are with Antifa, or that they are white supremacists, or that they are something else. And everything else checks out besides that one thing, and that one thing is a killer. So again, leave emotions at the door when you first get to know someone. It's very important on this. Now, one thing I also recommend is no matter what, if there's a red flag or not, try to do your basic homework on a person. If it does look like you're going to correspond with them a little bit, what I would advise to do, especially if there's no red flags after the third, fourth message, it's pretty safe to say that you're going to correspond with them a little bit. Look up their username and do some of these basic things. Like right here where there was a red flag from them saying, hey, text me, whatever. What the fact of the matter is that was a red flag into itself. So one of the first things I always do is if they give the name, then I try to use that. If they give the username, then I try to use that. Their username wasn't really popping up anything, and their name attached to their username wasn't really popping up anything, city and all that stuff. It really wasn't popping up anything. So the fact of the matter is I wasn't getting enough there. So it's a matter of, is this person even legit at this point, is what I'm concerned with, especially with a red flag like that. That's what you got to keep in mind, because, a catfisher's job is to act like they're someone else. Then when you get into con artist territory, they're, basically going to try to screw you out with something. You should be asking, why are they trying to push someone off the site? This is something that you need to note. Because they are a long-term con artist, what happens here is if someone wises up, sees through the veil, so to speak, well, what happens is they will lose their profile, because they already got a mountain of evidence against them in the first place. But not only that, if someone is able to see through the veil and just able to convince the site itself, hey, this person is conning people, or they're most likely conning people, especially if you got evidence on the outside, what the fact of the matter is they'll lose their profile. So let's say, for example, where this person says 8 to 12 weeks of changing emails and all that stuff, and she starts asking for money. Well, let's say it's 7 weeks. That's a lot of time to be wasting on a single person and get nothing out of it. Or let's say if it's 6 months, somewhere around here, where it says 6 months, and they're asking for $1,200. That's a lot of time to be wasting, because what happens if they were going to send this and then the payment method, as far as how do you get the money type of thing, it never comes through. So that's something to note into itself. As far as this goes, they're probably working on dozens of targets. It's like think of it as the car salesman approach, where the car salesperson, they will try to get you purchased here and now, where versus going home, thinking about it, doing your research, and coming back. The fact of the matter is it's the same thing there, trying to get just get you to do things off the cuff, and send them money without thinking about it. Because I'm pretty sure if this person, if they thought about it, it's like, hold on a second, have I actually seen her, or do I even know that she's real, where I might be? I mean, this person did their homework, so to speak, but would they have sent that large amount of money or something like that? So, I mean, it's stuff like that. If the person actually thought about it, then the fact of the matter is they probably wouldn't send the money, and that's a major thing into itself. So it's multiple reasons why they want you off the site, but it is important to note that that is a red flag, and that is an actual comment tagged into itself. One thing I'll always advise you to do is, whether someone is catfishing you or not, note whatever questions they're asking you, because people don't ask questions on what they're not interested in. But if someone's catfishing you, whatever it may be, then you can quickly find out their motives based on what they're asking. So if they're asking about basic things like attractiveness and this and that, or whatever, these meaningless things, it's things that are okay to ask for a first bit, but as you're building up something that's meaningless, what the fact of the matter is that says a lot into itself. So with that, I mean, and then on top of that, what you need to say is, again, like right here, where they're trying to make up any excuse to get me outside, whatever it may be. The fact of the matter is question it. So like right here, they're still trying to push me to do the text method to get me off the site. But they're making up a reason, and just ask it, why are you deleting profile, whatever it may be. Because again, all these are not final nails in the coffin. It's red flags after red flags after red flags. And yes, something's up there, but it's just red flags at the point. So keep in mind with all this, and then when we move over here, what you need to do is note the social engineering back and forth. Not only I'm doing social engineering tactics to get information out of them to see if they're legit or not, they're doing social engineering back on me. Now, one thing I want to note is never use your real phone number whenever you're not sure about someone, especially when you first contact them or whatever it may be. It's a good idea to have some type of voice over IP, like Google Voice. One of the biggest reasons why I got it, because if someone ticks me off, I could just block them right there. But one of the things that happens in the real world, this is something that actually does happen in the real world, is if it becomes a very much targeted attack, if they have your phone number, your actual phone number, they can figure out who is a bill payer. Not only that, they can figure out what company is that on there. So what happens is since they probably know your username, because the dating site will show your handle, you're probably using that in multiple places. So what happens here is, because you're probably using it in multiple places, they can see if they can get into other accounts by using the forgot password method, or by doing social engineering, they can pretty much figure out your password in most cases when you talk to an average person. Obviously, when you get into people on my end, I won't even be able to tell you my password without having to look up some proper information in the encryptions and all the other stuff. But the average person, if you ask them the right questions, you can figure out their password fairly easily. So what happens is when the system like Google, it doesn't recognize, oh, you normally don't log in this area, so I'm going to send a two-factor authentication. Well, to get into the two-factor authentication, it will send a text message to your phone. So since they will know your real phone number, the bill payer, and the company, what they can do is use social engineering attacks in order to get the phone that it's aligned to, so your actual real phone number. They can use social engineering attacks to get the number switched to a different phone, which does happen, or linked up to a different phone, so multiple phones at once, but more than not, it's switched to a different phone, a burner phone. And what happens is Google or one of these others that does two-factor authentication, it says, I'm going to send a text message, a coded text message to you. Just put the code back in so I know it's you. Well, the fact of the matter is it sends it off to that number. That number is now switched, so therefore they're able to get into your stuff right then and there. That's something that actually does happen. Again, if you use different usernames and stuff like that, then it's a lot less riskier for you, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people use similar passwords, if not the same, and a lot of people use similar, if not the same, username. Using the same username is not always going to cause problems. Most people do it. It's actually much easier and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is you need to make sure that your password is very unique between sites. And I'll recommend using things like LastPass in order to do that. Now, as far as things goes, jumping into here. So, as far as this goes, you can easily see that with the social engineering part, where I ask, what career path are you taking? Well, given that it's a unique thing, so say, for example, right, if they say realtor or wherever it may be, since I have a general idea where their city that they're supposed to be in, what I can do is easily figure out their name by using a method I use later. And from there I can figure out, is this a legit person or not? Because again, none of these are final nails in the coffin, but they all are red flags. So that's a big thing to note. Now, after you get to the point of seeing this amount of red flags, yes, something is definitely up. But so that's something to note, is if the person's saying, oh, I am working on being a doctor or this or that or whatever, you can probably find maybe a news article on them, maybe something with school, something on them to say that this is a legit person or not. So as far as that goes, I was still having problems trying to figure out this person or whatever it may be. Between their username, again, first thing that you gotta do is look up the username and the name if provided. I was having problems finding that, couldn't figure it out. This wasn't helping at all. And so trying to move on. Maybe their family is linked. Maybe, okay, I can't figure out if they have a social profile, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. But maybe I could figure something out with their family. So if they say that their family is, person's like fireman or something like that, well, that makes the search a lot more easier to figure out who they are and if they are who they say they are. So from here, the important thing to note is they don't right away answer that. So you got to hound down on these things multiple times in many cases. But because they didn't answer that right away, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, go for the proper response. This is a social engineering tactic that what happens is if you say, well, tell me about your family, the person is not supposed to say, the sky is blue. the person's not supposed to say all these other things. They're supposed to just be on topic and whatever. Okay, they don't want to talk about that for whatever reason. Let's move on. Well, let me give them my last name. This is something that you got to understand with social engineering. You have to give in order to get. Now, I could tell them my last name is Bob Joe or something like that, but the fact of the matter is if they are legit, you run into other problems. Plus, on top of that, my name is already widely known, and even if they do search it, they're not going to be able to find much because there's a lot of people with the same name. So it's security by obscurity, right? So that's a major thing to note into itself. All right. Well, the thing is the risk for me to give them that is extremely low. And what I'm after for at this point, if it's not obvious enough, is their last name. I mean, it should be very much obvious, is where they're not knowing I'm trying to hunt them, their information down. But what's actually happening is, okay, I'm not able to find it through their username. I'm not able to find it through the first name and username. I'm not able to find it through any of these things. So let's go for this. All right, now that I got their full name, this presents some other problems and some red flags. Not, again, file nail in the coffin type of thing, but it presents some red flags. So going up here, if we actually go and search this name, you won't find much. It's some company, and some people have that name and whatever it may be, but that's about it. There's just too much. It's like searching for my name. There's just too many. Yes, I'm a little bit more searchable than anybody else, but take away all these videos I've done, take away all these things I've done on the public face. What the fact of the matter is going to be very difficult for someone to find it. So the fact of the matter is that was not usable into itself. So next thing is just flat out ask, do you have any social profiles? And them saying no is not like a red flag at all. Most people don't. So again, since I got nothing, then I go for the family and try to push it for a little bit more. Because the fact of the matter is since it's a dating site, it's kind of obvious, hey, the person might want to know about the person's family or whatever. So from here, the person gave me something that is actually usable. They said that they're originally from this given area. So mix between this plus that, now I come across this. They say that someone else mentioned that, hey, this person stated that they're from that area. And surprise, surprise, we got something here, something I can work with. And not only that, take a look at the message that was sent, right? So the person says that, like this, there was no major red flags. For me, there was, because I know what I'm looking at. Not enough to, say no. But look at this. It says the same thing. Nigeria, dad's dead, mom's sick, blah, blah, blah. And the fact of the matter is if you take a look at this other, let's go up a little bit. It goes into same thing. Dad's dead, mother's in Nigeria, whatever it may be. And take a look at this message. It kind of lines up. Now you might be asking, if you know what you're looking at, why are they reusing the same con? It's because it worked at least once, but it worked. So it can work again. And most likely it's worked multiple times. Because there's a lot of people who's lonely. And the fact of the matter is it's a lot of people, I can't give, what was the first one, 350? I can't give 350, but I can give 25 or 50. That's $25, $50 that's scam. Simple as that. So that's something to note into itself. I imagine within 3 days time to a week's time, she'll be asking me for money, because I mean it seems like a very much manufactured type of con, especially for someone who's been doing this for a while. But the funny thing is if you take a look at this, it says visit my mom, something about her sex or whatever it may be, and her going in surgery. If you actually take a look at this, it says something about her. Let's see if I can find it. Where her mom's dead. So you literally have someone trying to pull the same scam on multiple people. But not only that, screwing with their emotions, trying to get as much money as possible from them. If there is a hell, this person's going to it. That's kind of screwed up. So, and that's where I'm making this video, by the way. Because, I mean, if one person got messed over, not being able to see the red flags, when maybe others will be able to see the red flags. But that's screwed up. Not only they're trying to use the same tactic over and over and over, but they are, basically just trying to play with people's emotions off of false data overall. So from here, I mean, at this point, I knew what was going on because the story matches up way too much to these others. What my next thing would be, if I really wasn't sure, like at this point, being around cybersecurity and being around these type of things, being around studying in school, people who got screwed over, because these are the things that you'll study in school. These are the things, if you go to university and study cybersecurity, these are the things that you'll study, right? So being around this, I'm 100% sure that this is the exact same person, right? So if I wasn't sure, my next move would be, let's meet. You've got to note these tactics in order to gain as much information as possible. Note that you need to be able to look up their information. You need to confirm that they are even real, that the name matches the face, that the person matches the location, that the situation matches the person. Because the fact of the matter is what would happen after this? Let's say, for example, if they didn't give this information away, right? My next thing is simply this. Try to get them to say what school they've been to. So they say that they were in property management. Well, did they go to school for it? So I would simply ask, did you go to school for property management? Okay, if they say no, I'll try to find a way to bring up what high school did you go to. And because all these things, all these records are digitized by now. And the fact of the matter is it's just a matter of knowing what search terms to put into a system in a Google or whatever you use in order to find someone's information. That's all it is. And keep in mind, this ain't doing anything, as far as on my end, anything legal. This is just simply protecting yourself, using black hat methods to protect yourself. So, as far as that goes, if anyone got any questions, anything else, then feel free to leave that down below, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. Like, subscribe, share, whatnot, follow, whatever. And again, if you want to copy this video and share it, then feel free to do so. But give me credit and whatever. But anyways, and if you want to add to it and maybe talk about your experience or whatever it may be, feel free to do that in the comment section, and maybe you'll help others. But see you next video. Hope you have a great day.